Hi guys. Today's video, as you can see by the title, is not makeup related. Today I'm going to be discussing something that's very personal for me, that I'm still kind of dealing with on a day-to-day basis, and something that I know a lot of other women go through, and something that needs to be talked about that isn't talked about quite enough. So, you know, if you're interested in hearing this kind of video, it's just kind of an overview of something that I've been going through recently. You know, into that kind of video, great, you know, keep on watching. If you're not, go ahead and stop watching this video. I do have other beauty videos if you want to check out the rest of my channel. This is actually the first serious video I've done. So, you know, you can watch any of those other videos, but right now this is something that I feel compelled to talk about. So if you would like to keep watching, then let's get into it. Okay, so for those of you who do not know, I am a mother. I have a daughter who is almost 11, which is crazy. Her name is Brooklyn. She has made appearances on my channel. She is my little mini me, my everything. I can't say enough about her. I have one child. So yes, I have one daughter, and I am going to be 31 years old this week. So, you know, I've been told pretty much my whole life that I couldn't really have any more kids. I've had a lot of biopsies done. I've had an IUD that caused a lot of scarring on my cervix. Sorry, I'm getting nervous, so I'm kind of rambling. It caused a lot of scarring on my cervix, and I was told, because I also have super regular periods, that it probably wouldn't happen, that it would probably take a lot of work for me to be able to get pregnant. And, you know, that, honestly, with anybody else, I've really never, it wasn't a necessity for me to have another kid, so it wasn't heartbreaking. But, you know, with my man now, that is something that we want. And, okay, I'm gonna get into it. Whew, this is hard. This is really hard. So we were kind of not trying, but, you know, not trying. And I started cramping one day, and I hadn't had a period in 5 months, which is kind of usual for me. I can go months on months without a period. So I started cramping, and I thought I was just starting a massive period, and, you know, they were actually pretty bad cramps. And, you know, I was using a heating pad. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't get over this. And honestly, there was very little blood. So I was really confused. I was like, you know, what's going on? Why am I cramping so bad, but I'm not having a period? And the bleeding stopped. So, I mean, it was, and there wasn't even really blood. It was just a little bit spotting. So I was like, well, that's really strange. So then I'm like, well, maybe I'm pregnant, because I've heard stories before about, you know, women spotting when they're pregnant. And my mom actually had a period not the entire time. I think it was the entire time. I'll have to ask her that. But the entire time that she was pregnant with me, she had a period. So I was like, well, maybe I'm pregnant. And I've been really nauseous the past couple days. I just hadn't been feeling good. I've been really tired. So went and got a pregnancy test, took the test. I hand it to him, and he's like, I want to do it. I want to check. So I'm sitting there, directly after I hand it to him, he turns around, he's like, and I was like, no way, no. And he shows it to me, and it says, sure enough, it says pregnant, and it came up like that. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I must be pretty pregnant if it's coming up that quickly. And yeah, so that happens, and then he's like, well, I don't know, I don't trust it. I'm like, well, you can't really get a false positive, it's very rare, but okay, let's take another test. Took another test, again, came up instantly. So I made an appointment. You know, first we were like super happy and just got really excited about it, and I made an appointment to go to like a local free clinic to get a pregnancy test. Go in, I take the pregnancy test, and they say, sure enough, you're pregnant. So we're all excited, like we're just so excited. They're telling me that I'm probably like, you know, it's based on when my last period was, which my periods, like I said, I can go months without a period. So I wasn't really, I was pretty sure that I wasn't 18 weeks along, which is what they told me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. But then I started like convincing myself, you know, that I was 18 weeks, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can feel it, which is crazy. But I was just so excited, and I started actually getting really nauseous, having food aversions, just all around like feeling horrible. And we set up to have an ultrasound, and that was gonna be in a week. So, you know, in the meantime, I started spotting again. Very little, but I started spotting, and there wasn't any cramping involved. So I just like kept doing research. I mean, we literally told everybody that was close to us in our lives. Like, we didn't like go and announce it on Facebook or anything, but we told our parents, we told my daughter, you know, really close friends of ours. Like, we were super excited, and you know, we really didn't think that it could happen. So, you know, really excited. And then I go in for the ultrasound, and in the ultrasound, they can't find anything. They say that they see my uterus is like getting ready for it, but they can't find anything. Super alarming to hear, obviously. So they basically tell you it's one of two things, that either your uterus is getting ready for it and it's a very early pregnancy, or it's on its way out, which nobody wants to hear. So pretty much it's a waiting game. So we go home, and within, I would say, a week, maybe less, I start getting really bad cramps, and the bleeding starts to intensify. And it gets to a point where I am in like unbearable pain, and I'm like, I can tell that something's not right. So we go into, or I call, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, something's not right. I feel like I'm literally gonna gush blood. And he, you know, comes home from work, rushes me to the ER, and as I'm walking into the ER, I just feel this gush. And we get to the front, and I pull my hand, like I'm holding myself, and I pull my hand out, and there's blood all over my hand. And I tell the person at the front, I'm like, I am going to bleed out all over this floor. I need to see something, like I need help. And they like rush me to the bathroom. I sit on the toilet. I'm sorry, this is really graphic, but I sit on the toilet, and I feel like a rush, and then I like lean forward, and there was something about this big in the toilet. And the nurse tells me, you know, it might be a blood clot. And I looked at her, and I was like, do you think it's a blood clot? And she was like, no. And like, it's so hard to talk about, but like my heart just sank, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's it, it's done. And like in my heart, I knew that it was, but, you know, I had to stay in the hospital. They had to, but I had an ultrasound done, and again, they said they couldn't find anything. So then the doctor tells me, like, they took my blood work, and he tells me that my my level is at like a 507, which, you know, would put me about like, I think it was 6 or 7 weeks, and he said that he either thinks it's too early or that it was on its way out. Again, said that he didn't see, you know, what was in the toilet, that they didn't show him, but he basically was just like, well, you know, well, you'll just have to monitor it, you know, make an appointment and they'll check your levels again. So I held out hope. With my daughter, they told me that I had miscarried, like 97% sure I had miscarried because they couldn't find anything. And, you know, she's here alive and well. So I prayed really hard when my daughter, when that all happened. So I kept thinking positive. I blessed God every day. I said, thank you for this miracle growing inside me. And I just kept the faith that, you know, that it wasn't that. And, you know, my bleeding had stopped within a couple days. So I was like, you know what? I don't think that this is it. So went to the doctor. They took a urine test, and they confirmed that I was pregnant. And I was like, oh, well, you know, I begged God. I said, God, please, if I am not pregnant, do not let it show up on the pregnancy test. Well, it showed up on the pregnancy test. So then I have to sit there, and they're like about to draw blood from me, which I don't know if you know, but when you're pregnant, they draw a lot of blood from you. And I started to get so anxious, and like I just got this like feeling that everything was not okay. And they're taking my blood, and I legitimately like go ghost white, and they're like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I just like start sweating profusely, and I like black out for a minute, and I'm just like I've never had anything like that happen to me before. They're like putting compresses on my face, and you know, it was just a very terrifying thing to go through. And having to wait for them to call back with the results was excruciating. And I just kept the faith. And I got the call, and they told me my levels were at 147. And I feel like I lost it. Like, nobody can tell you what it is to go through this. You know, everybody's experience is different, and like, I have an angel baby now. Like, you know, my baby wasn't born, but it was there. It was growing inside me, and, you know, for reasons unbeknownst to me, you know, something went wrong, and my body got rid of it, which the doctors say is a good thing because it means my body's in working order. But I've never experienced a loss like this. Like, being so excited. Sorry. Being so excited, and then just, you know, I couldn't even be around kids for a week because, you know, we tried to go to dinner with our friends, and they have a baby, and I just looked at her, and she was smiling, and I just lost it at dinner. Like, I couldn't be around a pregnant girl because And I was like super like hostile towards her because I just didn't want to talk to her because I knew that's all she was going to talk about. You know, we're friends now. And I explained to her why I acted that way, but the only thing that helped me really was seeing other people's experiences. Like, I went on YouTube and I searched, and, you know, I found some stories that made me cry and really made me, like, push forward. And I don't know, I felt compelled to share my experience because I think they said it's like 50% of pregnancies end in miscarriage or something like that. It's some number that is way higher than it should be. And, you know, a lot of women don't even know they were pregnant, which doesn't make it any less of a pregnancy or a miscarriage, but it's not talked about enough. I feel like people don't come out and say that they're depressed. People don't come out and say, you know, that they've suffered like this. And to a lot of people, it's not that big of a deal because it wasn't, you know, outside of somebody's body. Like, you couldn't touch it. You couldn't tangibly see it. But to a pregnant woman, like, you feel it. You might not feel the baby moving, but you feel it in your heart, and you start to plan their life. Like, so I just wanted to let you guys know, like, that's why I have been a little absent. I mean, it's a fight every day not to be depressed. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, I don't want to mess up my makeup. If you know somebody that has gone through a miscarriage, or you've gone through a miscarriage, please reach out to me. I want to hear your stories. You know, I want to know how you coped with that, how your friend coped with it, your family member. And we need to make it more widespread. People need to understand it. People need to see the hurt there, because people don't think that it's that big of a deal because we don't make that big of a deal out of it. At least I haven't seen it made. Only if, you know, the baby was further along, or the mom was further along, or I mean, that's really the only time that I see it really being made a big deal of. But a baby is a baby, no matter what. At least that's what I believe. And, you know, whether you're 6 weeks along or 2 weeks along or 5 months along, it is still a baby. You are still excited about that pregnancy, and it's still a loss. So I'm speaking out. I'm letting it be known, this is what happened to me. You know, I'm not like trying to get sympathy. I don't feel like the subject is spoken about enough. So I'm gonna go. This is like a 20-minute video. I am gonna have another video up very soon. And, you know, thank you for listening. Thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting me. And, you know, let's get through this together. If you've been through this, let's get through it together. Please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sorry this video wasn't more exciting or happy, but, you know, this is life, and it's real. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.